Alright guys, if you read the title of the video, then you know I'm about to argue an unpopular opinion. Hopefully by the end of this video, you have a little bit different outlook on the situation. You hear all the time, especially from the left wing, but even some conservatives and a few libertarians here and there, how underpaid teachers are. But let's go ahead and break that down a bit. The average master's degree holder makes roughly $70,000 a year. The average teacher makes about $60,000 a year, and this is based on working 10 months out of the year. So when you break that down on a month-to-month basis, they're actually making more than their counterpart. So let's go ahead and take that and their job performance and tie that together. Test scores are down or stagnant. And they have been for the past several decades. Teaching is one of the few jobs that you see consistent failure, and it's not frowned upon for them to have the audacity to go ahead and ask for more money. I can count on one hand how many good teachers I had going through school. Teachers who actually gave a shit. I mean, they're far and few between. What most teachers do, and you're not going to like this simplification, but it's the objective reality, is they read out of a book predetermined by the state and the teachers unions, and then they get annoyed at the students who decide to attempt to critically think or ask questions. Your kids aren't being taught how to think, how to be more productive. They're being taught what to think, how to memorize, and how to take notes. That is what you learn in school now. Hell, we were told during all these lockdowns that teachers essentially were replaceable by a laptop and their parent working a full-time job. If that's really all that these teachers are worth, then I think it's pretty simple to make the argument that at the very least they don't deserve more money. A funny comparison actually is that private school teachers do a better job with less funding and a lower salary than these public school teachers, and it's reflected in the test scores, and it's not even close. I went to a private school for 9 years, and I'd like to thank my parents for doing that for me. When I made the transition from the private school system over to the public school system, I was much more prepared in 90% of what we were going over than I would have been had I been in the public school system my whole life. This isn't a new issue now, but it's gotten worse, and one of the reasons this is because a lot of these teachers now, they're more concerned about teaching things like CRT and other social justice BS than they are about actually teaching math and science, to the point that math is now considered racist. They're activists. They're not teachers at all. Another huge problem are the teacher unions themselves. Not only do these teacher unions protect absolutely god-awful teachers, but they're a barrier in the way of you being able to get your child the education that they deserve for your tax dollars, and being able to reward teachers that are actually worth their weight. These unions care even less about your kids than these teachers do. And that was made absolutely obvious during the COVID lockdowns with all their insane demands. All these unions do is try harder and harder to secure more of your money through tax dollars and try to standardize doing less for your kids and spending less time with them, putting in less effort. So let's go ahead and recap this and kind of summarize. What can you do what can be done overall? Parents, you're not absolved of any of your responsibility. You need to be more involved with your children. You need to know what's going on in your school system. A lot of what happened in the Virginia election was specifically due to the fact that parents started paying attention and they saw some of this nonsense going on in their schools. They went to the school board meetings, and then after that, when they saw that there was still so much pushback, they made their voice heard at the polls. You have the power here, guys. The Department of Education needs to be disbanded. It's given us no improvement over the past, once again, several decades. It cost an absolutely huge amount of money, and getting rid of it would give you more local control over what your kids learn. And on that point, you'll hear the argument that the Department of Education has been around since about the mid 1800s. The current Department of Education, as we know it, wasn't created until around 1980-ish. Prior to that, they were much more reined in. Once we decided to make those changes around 1980, they were given a huge boost in power. And once again, we've gotten absolutely no return on this. This is just another example of how more government and more money does not automatically mean that you're getting more for your dollar, for your tax dollar. And then the other thing that we need to do is we need to get rid of these teachers' unions. They've turned into nothing more than political propaganda agencies. And once these unions are gone, you can hold your teachers more accountable. And once again, you can have a education system that's set up more the way that your localities and your states want them to be run. Who do you trust more right now with education? Do you trust Ron DeSantis or do you trust Brandon? I'll tell you right now, I will put my tax dollars behind Ron DeSantis if I have the option every single time. And one more thing right before we wrap up. Just to be clear, none of this is to say that there aren't some absolutely fantastic teachers out there who are truly underpaid and go the extra mile for their students. They genuinely care about the kids that they have in their classroom, which is absolutely fantastic. We need more teachers like that. But the unfortunate reality is that they're a minority of probably 1 to 20. So take some involvement, guys. And if you have the means to do it, it really would be a good idea to consider homeschooling. Thanks, guys.